So I recently had to give up on something. Let's talk about it. So before you get worried, don't worry, it's nothing too crazy. It's just a little crafty craft project. However, it was important to me and I had to learn some lessons. I thought we would sit down and talk about it today, have a little chit chat, have a little podcast sesh. Now, this is not the video, obviously, that I had planned for this week. In fact, the video I did plan to post this week is a video I've been trying to make for weeks, if not a month. For those of you who have been watching my lives, you will know that I have been working on my oak leaf fairy wings and I've been having some issues. However, I am the type of person who does not accept failure, or at least does not accept failure easily. I am stubborn, I will pivot, I will keep trying, especially since I make these videos and this is kind of my job. I kind of have to be patient and try to work through issues. However, in this instance, I had to accept defeat, which is why I decided to do this video, because first of all, I don't have a freaking video to post this week, but also one of the themes of the video that I was going to post in the first place, at least a theme that started to manifest as I was going along, is that not every craft project goes the way that you plan, and you have to be flexible. You have to try to make it work. And then in trying to create that video, the whole thing unraveled, and I was hoping it would be an underdog story. It would start with me having all these issues, and in the end, I would end up with a really good pair of wings to show you guys. But unfortunately, and I'll show you guys that later, that did not happen. And I didn't want to just post the whole process of making the wings and to end with not having a pair of usable fairy wings. That wouldn't be the direction to go. So instead, we're completely going back to the drawing board. The thesis of this video is failure and what we learn from it, and why sometimes it's okay to give up. In that, we learn lessons and are able to create something totally different. So yes, I am someone who's very stubborn. I will try to make things work up until the very end. I will not stop, and that is my own flaw that I have to work through. Okay, so for some circumstances, that is not a flaw. However, it comes to a point where it is no longer healthy and we have to take a step back and admit that, you know what, this ain't working. We got to do something else. And that's kind of what I'm doing this week with this video, to having this little chit chat. So I am starting to learn, and this is something that's an ongoing evolution and process, that failure is an essential part of the human experience. I am someone who believes that we are on this planet to learn lessons, to grow, and sometimes those lessons involve failing and then having to regretfully give up on something. Giving up can be a good thing, and some of the things that we learn through failure, obviously the first one is perseverance and being adaptable and work through that failure and try to transform it into a win. But the other thing that we learn is patience, because it can be really frustrating when the things we had high expectations for don't work out. For me, a big lesson that I'm having to learn through failure is managing my feelings of disappointment. That is something that I have always struggled with. It's an aspect of my rejection sensitivity dysphoria. I believe that is an aspect of it, or at least parallel to it. It's kind of a the neurodivergent experience. And to a certain extent, all humans experience issues with accepting disappointment. But with people who are neurodivergent, some things can be amplified and disproportionate to the actual situation. And a point that I meant to bring up but totally forgot is the whole learn by fire principle, in that as humans we're refined not only by our successes but also by our failures. Our successes teach us what works, but then our failures or mistakes teach us what doesn't work. So in the future we're able to draw from that experience and then apply that to our future attempts as well as future situations. Difficulties and failures bring us challenges, and challenges brings improvement, whether that be physical skills or mental or emotional regulation skills. I'm not really an avid gamer myself, but a lot of people in my family are, and it makes me think of video games. If the game was too easy, or we had all the cheat codes and there was no challenge, we'd easily get bored and want to quit the game. Especially for those of us who prominently have dopamine-seeking brains, we need that challenge, we need that satisfaction of achieving something against odds. And I think that's why we see a lot of billionaires and people who are born into generational wealth who have it easy doing crazier and crazier things, because because their life has no challenge and they can buy anything or pay anyone to do anything for them. So they get bored and they end up doing really weird things. Even though this situation didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, I didn't get the wings that I wanted, I wasn't able to tell the story that I wanted to, I am still trying to make something out of it, which is this video and the lesson. So it's kind of a double whammy, like I'm learning the lesson that it's okay to give up on things, but also you can transform that failure into something else. And to add to this was really good for me because first of all my crafts have been relatively easy and have gone pretty smoothly even when things have gone wrong. And this was really the first time that things went this wrong. Throughout the process, I had to navigate all of the little failures that kept getting in the way and then problem solve through them. And then when nothing worked, I had to reconcile the fact that I had failed and regulate my emotions through the disappointment. And that's the other thing that I'm really having to grieve is the time that I spent, the tips of my fingers that I burnt, and the money that I spent on the fabric to then just use fabric from my stash, but then that didn't even work out in the end.
All that work and what did it get me? Why did I do it?
I think going forward, this is really going to help me to kind of see things in a different light. I already started to do that in the beginning of the video making process when right from the jump I started having issues. First of all, the type of wire I was using, the fabric on several different occasions wasn't working out.
Flashback.
Then came the other issue. Because the wire is not as rigid, it's not as strong, it would not hold up under the nylon fabric. It was just giving way and not able to hold its form under the stress of the stretch. So I needed to be flexible again and look for a different fabric. And we all know what that means. I have to go to the craft store. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Ooh, what's this?
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it.
It's too sheer. This is more of a netting. It's not really what I had in mind. I'm looking for more of a olive color, so I'm going to keep looking. Like this color if it was sheer. I at first was thinking, okay, I'm having all these issues. Instead of making a tutorial, I'm gonna make it kind of a journal vlog of how it's okay to struggle with crafts. Not everyone is going to have a good time with their craft every single time. At least most people don't show it when they have struggles. And I really wanted to be the type of creator that's transparent and shows the things that I struggle with so that people don't think that it's inaccessible. So even though that video, that story didn't work out, I am still proud of myself for coming up with that idea in the first place and not beating myself up for, hey, I wanted this to be a tutorial because I finally feel confident, but now it's all falling apart. But instead going to the let me be inspiring for the people that have admitted to me that this is all very intimidating for them. I think being transparent as a creator and not overly aestheticizing, if that's even a word, my craft is really important. And I know there's a lot of other creators that do that. It's something that I would want to see in creators as well, because I too struggle with perfectionism, as you guys can plainly see by my thought process and the journey that I'm on. But I really want to be cognizant of not instilling those types of thoughts and beliefs in other people that might be watching. I remember growing up watching YouTube videos and craft videos and just feeling like, or not even craft, sometimes just vloggers who were just super aesthetic. I could never achieve that. And though my content is pretty aesthetic, I try to balance it with the chaos and the authenticity. And I'm really hoping that that is coming through to you guys. Because all in all, I want everyone to feel included. I want everyone to feel not just inspired, but I want people to feel like they belong, like they can achieve anything that they see me do, that it's not out of reach. Which, circling back to failure, I think it's important for creators to display their failures and what they learn from those lessons. And I put emphasis on that latter part because it can be really easy to rant and vent on the internet all the time and be constantly negative. And I have been guilty of that in the past, trying not to do that as much. However, again, I don't want to overly curate my content. So having that balance of, hey, this is where I messed up, this is where I struggle, but also this is what I'm learning from it. I think that's extremely powerful for viewers, and I really hope inspires you guys as well, because life is messy, man. But yeah, this is just my thought process right now. I didn't write a script, I didn't write an outline, I just had some general ideas I wanted to talk about today. I mean, I know eventually I'm gonna be making videos on my second channel. Y'all keep reminding me that I wanna make video essays and stuff about mental health on my second channel. I will. There's stuff going on and I don't have time, but I really do wanna talk more about mental health, all that good stuff. And this part of integrating failure and learning from it and evolving from it is just one little component. I would probably need to actually make a script for something like that, because girl doesn't work too well off the fly. I'm actually kind of floundering right now, coming to a conclusion. But I guess at this juncture, I should show you guys the wings. Are you ready? They look good when they're flat, but then, oh wow. Look how nice they look. They're so nice. Why didn't you release the video? They won't stand up. So what happened was I had switched what wire I was using, because the more malleable wire was able to capture the little nooks and crannies and details, whereas the fencing wire was a little bit too hard for me to bend even with needle nose pliers. But because it's more malleable, it cannot stand up to the weight. And I thought using a more weighty, I'm dumb, okay? I thought like this more sturdy fabric would work out better, because initially I was using this weird chiffon fabric, and this is the like, look, it's already like wanting to bend. It bends way too easily, and I should have known. I should have clocked it early on. I even added supports with the fencing wire. Still didn't work. I mean, they look nice when they're not flopping over. So I'm trying to think of what to do to like use these for something else, maybe for decor or like a hat or something. I don't know. If you guys have ideas what I can do with these, because I do not have any more of this bias tape that I use for the edges, and it's hot glued on there real good. So there's no undoing it and putting some sturdier wire inside. I tried. Y'all don't even know. I stayed up till the wee hours of the morning trying to freaking get this to work. Everyone's gonna be like, hey, it's fine, you should know. I tried. Sorry, I need to have this on my sword because my hair likes to rub against my mic. And I also need something to do with my hands. But yeah, that was my failure, and these are the different ways I tried to pivot. Still inevitably failed, and the video did not come together. But this video was born from its ashes, a video about failure, and I don't even know if it's coherent. It could be a complete failure and end up not being posted. Failureception. So yes, that's my little thesis. Thank you for watching. Thank you for yapping with me. Remember guys, you don't have to be perfect. If you fail at something, don't be afraid to give up on it and just throw it in the trash. Again, it's the friends you made along the way, or rather, the lessons that you learned from it. I have to thank the people that watched me on live, because being watched by dozens of people also kept me from having a freaking meltdown. I am on the verge of freaking losing it. Thank you guys for body doubling with me on live. If you would like to hang out with me in the near future, I'm trying to go live once a week, although the next couple weeks are kind of crazy, so probably not. But when the dust of my life starts settling, maybe I'll go live again. You never know. You never know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. It's late. And by late, I mean 9 o'clock. I'm old. Okay, shut up. Okay, bye.